Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Week 12 of the NFL season. We kind of know who the haves and have-nots are at this point. And we're getting a little snow football. Some bad weather football. I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall is here. And Rob, let's be honest, 12 weeks in to this little nickel and dime pony show we call the Degenerates Next Door. And despite, a few bumps in the road, both of us have winning records to week 12. Right now, as a collective, you and I both are 3 games above 500, baby. 3 games above 500. Put that in your crack pipe and smoke it, baby.
If we'd have bet $1 million a game, we'd be $3 million ahead, which means we wouldn't have to work here anymore.
That's right. And then when you factor in the prop bets, listen, right now, 44-23.
Jeez.
If my Beech Grove High School education is correct, that is good for 65.6%.
Wow.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
And that money all spends the same.
Right. If you win a prop bet on Jameis Winston tonight, that money spends the same as if you got the Super Bowl winner correct.
That's right. And we'd like to point out, we hit the ballin' on a budget again last week.
We did.
It was a bit of a rough slate of regular games, but the ballin' on a budget, and that's plus money, baby. So that makes up for a lot of other bad bets if you can hit a plus bet.
You also nailed the Jake Paul.
That's
pick.
right.
I mean, let's be honest. There's no such thing as free money, but that was about as close as you were going to get.
Yeah.
Because we knew that thing was rigged from the moment that it was announced, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm way too big of a chicken to bet like actual money because I would
not me, baby.
No, not you. But
I was in.
I mean, I did bet on it, and I mean, to me, it was so obvious, especially with the change in the rules, and they were not going to cut off the cash machine, which is Jake Paul winning these fights. I mean, it just seemed blatantly obvious to me. I was shocked those odds were minus 200 or 220 or whatever you could get it at.
So from the balling on a budget to Jake Paul to the prop bets and against the spread, through 12 weeks of the NFL season, man, I think we've done pretty well.
That's right.
We'll put our record up against a lot of folks.
We're amateurs.
We're not professionals.
No.
We host radio programs during the daytime, but we just said, screw it. We gamble on these games. Yeah. We might as well talk about these games. We'll do all the homework, and lo and behold, here we are.
And that's one thing, and I know we're got to get into the bets, but that's one thing people need to realize. We're not pros. We miss a lot of them. We're here having fun. We're having a good time. We're watching these games the same way as you are, and we're just hoping that you join the family with us. If you want to take our advice, great. If you want to hear our logic and go, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, I'm going against you, and you're going to make money that way, great. We want you to succeed.
Right. And we want you to have fun with us too, man. Have fun, crack a beer, let's watch some ball. Now, with that being said, quick show note, we will not have a podcast for you next week. I'll be traveling to God's country of Pigeon Forge and the top of old Rocky Top next week.
Good for you.
I don't know what you're doing, Rob. What are you doing next week?
Well, I'm walking across the lawn to my dad's house.
Okay.
So most of our audience may know my dad is my neighbor. I live next to the house I grew up in, and so I'll be walking. It's technically traveling because I'm traveling next door.
Okay, so no podcast next week, but here's what we're going to do. Since it is a big week of ball, we're going to put a lot of our picks out on the Twitter account.
Oh, yeah.
Just look for the Degenerates Next Door. You can find that on Twitter. Just do it as a search, but also at DegenNXT Door Pod.
And the reason that's so hard it's my fault, but there were like nothing. I tried a million different things in there that would have been Degenerates Next Door podcast, and I screwed it up, and that was the long, complicated thing that I came up with. So if you want to be mad about that, it's my fault. But if you just search Degenerates Next Door on your Twitter machine, it'll get you to our page.
He is on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. And yes, it's still Twitter. Don't call it X.
That's right.
It's still Twitter.
That's great.
I'm at Jason Allen Hammer. And with that being said, I have got action tonight.
Yeah!
I want action tonight. Satisfaction all night.
So we got a little weather ball tonight, Rob. Steelers at the Browns. Steelers, 3.5-point road divisional favorite. Over-under is at 37. Now, I was all in on betting the over as of yesterday. Because when these two teams get together, usually there's points.
Yeah.
May surprise a lot of people because you think defense and running the ball with the Steelers. But historically, there's always points. But then I looked at the forecast, and the forecast changed. So tonight, what I'm seeing in terms of the weather for Cleveland, Ohio, snow, rain, and wind.
Ooh.
And that's the key one, wind, 20 to 25 miles per hour. So that kind of spooked me off of the over. So then I thought about the Steelers, right? Because it just makes sense. The Steelers right now are technically the number one seed in the AFC.
Amazing, isn't it?
And the Browns stink. But it's a divisional game. And what if I told you that Mike Tomlin stinks on Thursday nights? As good of a coach as Mike Tomlin is, as much as he is an ATM machine when he's an underdog, on short weeks, he's just 9-10 straight up, 8-9-2 against the spread on Thursday nights. Meanwhile, you've got Stefanski on the other side. Stefanski, 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread on Thursdays. And the wild card here is Jameis Winston, right? You have no idea what you're going to get. You could get 3 touchdowns, 300 yards in the snow, or you could get 14 yards passing, 3 interceptions, and he's taken out of the game by the third quarter.
To quote the great philosopher Jason Hammer, when sports betting first became legal here in Indiana, he must have been still with the Buccaneers at this point. There was some bet, and I was betting on the Bucs, and Hammer just looks at me and goes, "Do you really want to bet your hard-earned money on Jameis Winston?" And that's always stuck with me. I've never done it again.
So that's where I'm at here, right? The home team is 5-0 straight up in the last 5 in this series head-to-head. But, man, I would have buyer's remorse if I hitched my wagon to the Browns, because all the numbers tell me Browns here. But imagine taking the Browns tonight with 3.5 and the Steelers boat race them, and you have to look at the mirror and go, what in the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going to go. I kind of found a medium spot where I feel pretty good at. Based on this matchup, based on the divisional rivalry and the crappy weather tonight, I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers team total over 19 and a half.
Yeah, I like that.
3 touchdowns by the Steelers, your toes are tapping.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's going to be a lot of running of the football for the Steelers tonight. Weather is going to be awful. It's going to affect field goals. It's going to affect long passing down the field for Jameis Winston. But if you can create some turnovers, maybe there's a drop punt, something on special teams. The Steelers' defense creates a few opportunities. Just need 3 touchdowns.
Jameis might give you 7 or 14 on his own.
Correct. So we are going to ride the lightning with the Steelers over 19.5. That is the official bet for tonight. Now, as for prop bets, how about Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers running back, over 17.5 carries. Again, bad weather means more runs. And if you think the Steelers are going to win the game or be in the lead, more runs. They've been kind of going away from Najee the last couple of weeks, but in these conditions, 17.5 I think is a doable number. The last 4 weeks, he's had 18, 21, 19, and 21, all over 17.5. So Najee Harris over 17.5 carries. And famous Jameis, listen, he does not care that it's cold. He does not care that it's snowing. He does not care that the wind gusts maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour. he's going to throw the football. You cannot tell Jameis Winston to not throw the football because they can't run it.
Yeah.
The Steelers' defense is good, and let's be honest, the Browns' running game sucks. So Jameis Winston over 34.5 passing attempts. Now, since becoming the starter, Rob, these are the passing attempts he's had every week. 41, 46, and 48.
Wow.
So in bad conditions tonight, what we believe will be bad conditions, because again, we taped this podcast at noon on Thursday, over 34.5 passing attempts in the snow with Jameis Winston tonight. Now, I'm hoping there's snow. I'm hoping there's thunder snow. Because you know me, Rob, I'm a weather nerd.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you ever see the YouTube video of Jim Cantori of the Weather Channel freaking out over thunder snow? Thunder snow is this like rare phenomenon where, just like in the summertime, a big thunderstorm and the rain happens, but it's thunder and then big amounts of snow falling down. And if you haven't seen the video, here's a little something I put together. This is Jim Cantori of the Weather Channel freaking out about thunder snow.
Oh! Listen to that! Son of a...
Oh, yes! 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 We got it, baby! We got it! We got it! Woo! Woo! We got it! Yes! Listen to that! Listen to that! Oh, baby! Oh! Again! Again! That's a twofer! That's a twofer, baby! Yes! 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 Again! That's a three! You gotta be kidding me!
Let's go!
You gotta be kidding me! Pirac! Oh my God! Winds have really picked up in through here. And there's another one! That's you gotta be kidding me! Wow! You can have your $500 million jackpot in Powerball or whatever the heck it was, but I'll take this, baby. Four lightning strikes, 4 episodes of Thunder Snow.
And that is what I'm looking forward to tonight in Cleveland as we ride the lightning rod.
I love he'd rather get some thunder snow than $500 million. That's great.
Find something you love as much as Jim Cantori loves thunder snow.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, I turn it to you. We've got Sunday night action here. You've got the Eagles.
The Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
The Eagles at the Rams. The Eagles are a 3-point road favorite. The over-under is 49.
Favorite part of that clip, every time we play it, I'll always say it. It doesn't ever make it onto the people who air it, but at the end of that, because that's John Fetterman, and there's a Steelers-Eagles game, and so obviously he's running for Senate in Pennsylvania, and so they ask him, like, who are you for? And he meant to say the Steelers, but he had suffered a stroke, which had basically fried his brain, and he says the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles. And then he realizes he said something incorrect, but his brain is too fried to correct it. So he just goes, nah. But he doesn't even know what he's supposed to say. All right.
That's a sitting United States Senator, by the way.
That's correct. He also said, hi, good night, everybody, to start a debate. Full disclosure, my gut here said the Eagles, but I was talked out of this by the group chat we're in. So me and Hammer and Kenny and our buddy Scott Long and David Sevenoff, we're all in a group chat together. And multiple people said take the Rams. Here was the consensus logic. I came up with 3 things that were consensus logic on why to take the Rams. Are you ready?
Bring it.
A lot of advice. These were the kind of 3 consensus things. 1, the Rams need this win. 2, the Rams have a better coach. 3, Nick Sirianni is a crybaby bitch.
Those are strong reasons right there.
That's all it took for me. When I got the crybaby bitch consensus, I said I'm in on the Rams getting the 3.
So what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, is you're ready to ram it. You ramming it this weekend, Rob?
I'm ramming it.
Boy, this song sucks.
But here's the thing. If I go down, I think there was universal consensus in our group chat that the Rams were the pick, so now I can blame everyone but myself.
Spoken like a true politician. Or a former politician that is elected official former elected official Rob Kendall, you bring up the name Kenny Britt. He is our pro handicapper on this show because, again, Rob and I, not professionals, although winning record all through the year, Kenny Britt is a professional. From KB Sports. All right, let's get your official play out here. Again, Kenny Britt of KB Sports. He's been rolling. His clients have been winning. What is the freebie you're passing out to us?
All right, guys. We're in the end of November, Jason, and we are looking at the best game this Sunday being Arizona at Seattle for the NFC West Division lead. Can you believe that?
Right.
I was going to go on the over, but the game's in Seattle. There's a 60% chance of rain. This far out, it's just too hard to say, about the weather. So I'm going to go with Seattle. They're actually getting a point at home. These teams are really evenly matched. Both of them have good wins. Both of them have bad losses. Both of them got great skill players with the receiver and their running back positions. But I think the home field advantage will make a difference here. I think Seattle's been a little more consistent than Arizona. So I'm going with Seattle +1, big deal. But
right. It was basically a pick 'em all through the week. I mean, you look at different sports books here. If you shop around, you might even find different team favorite or dog.
Oh, absolutely. When it's that low, absolutely. So I'm going Seattle +1. But Hammer, I know how much you love prop bets. Okay,
I'm in.
You're it, especially long range ones. I've got a prop bet for you and all of our listeners. I'm a Steeler fan, obviously, but who doesn't love Detroit? Everybody loves watching them. They're fun to watch. They're probably going to go from the NFC. On FanDuel, a Pittsburgh-Detroit Super Bowl matchup right now is +2,600.
Okay, I like that.
2,600.
You know what, though? I kind of want a little bit more juice. This is where Rob Kendall comes in. He likes to get nuts, the let's get nuts. He sold me yesterday on a little multi-sport situation here of the Oregon Ducks winning the whole thing and taking a long shot on AFC champion Los Angeles Chargers. Now we're talking some big bucks here, Kenny.
It's not a dumb bet at all. It really isn't. Because we're still so far out, one injury to one team and they're done. They're done.
And defense will travel. And you can say what you want about Justin Herbert and that Charger offense, but defense will travel in the postseason.
I think we're starting to see with the Chargers and let's say the Broncos how important coaching really is in the NFL. So much more so than in the NBA or Major League Baseball. Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh's turned those teams around in 1 and 2 years. So I think we're really seeing how important that is. So back to your point, the Chargers going to the Super Bowl is not far-fetched at all. Not at all.
I mean, it's a long shot. But, man, if you're willing to just put a 10 spot down on that, you could turn that bet into, 3-digit win. So
I will play a lot of times. I've done this a lot. I've played a team like an underdog I like on a Saturday. Let's say somebody is +400 and put them with the long-term bet for the Super Bowl. $10 pays you $700-800.
Right.
You can't beat that. But this Pittsburgh-Detroit thing, I just put 25 on it. It gets you back almost $700. That's a pretty good shot there.
That is a good shot. I mean, really, two of the best teams in each conference to still have that amount of juice attached to them. Better strike while the iron's hot. Where can people find you if they want to hire you, if they want all of your football bets, your horse racing stuff, because you are a machine at horse racing as well? Where can they find you?
All right, thanks, Jason. I'm on Facebook at KB Sports. You big yellow Steelers hat on my profile picture. In NFL, I am 46-22.
Let's go.
68%.
Let's go.
68%. Overall, I'm 27 games over 500, college and pro. So, as Rob Kendall would say, $1 million bettors at $27 million.
Right. You're hanging out with Bezos if you're making the bets that you're giving him right now.
You got that. And I do want to mention one thing real quick. Next weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, Thursday and Friday, I will give out free VIP plays. Just go to my Facebook page, follow me, send me a direct message, say, hey, I've followed your page. and I'll get those plays out to you next Thursday and Friday morning, Thanksgiving and Black Friday.
Yes, because we're not having a show next week because I'll be on the road. Rob's going to be on the road. So that's our gift. KB is going to be putting out there the VIP stuff for you on social media, but you got to find him. One more time, where can they find you at?
KB Sports on Facebook or through our X page, The Degenerates Next Door. If you can't find me on Facebook, Jason or Rob will hook you up with me.
Kenny Britt, KB Sports. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right, going to take a little time out here. We got a lot more picks. We got plays and a lot of games coming up. The Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door. All right, let's dive into some more games here, and we're going to do a little role reversal, Rob. You're a Bears fan. I'm a Colts fan. So we're going to go a little vice versa here. Little old Freaky Friday, if you will. I'm going to do the Bears game, and I want you to do the Colts game, okay? So Minnesota at Chicago. Minnesota, 3.5-point favorite, over under 39.5. Look, Vikings are the better team. I don't think anybody's denying that. But Chicago's not bad at home. 4-2 at home, 5-1 against the spread at home. And if you've listened to the show, you know me. I love home divisional underdogs. In their last 6 home games, the Bears have only given up 16.7 points per game. No team has scored more than 20 points at Soldier Field. Meanwhile, on the road, the Vikings are just 3-2 against the number. And, wait for it, 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games against AFC North opponents. So, I'm looking at this as you're going to have low scoring. You're going to have good defense. That Vikings defense is going to come after a rookie quarterback. But the Bears defense at home, they're pretty solid. So I want the points. Give me the Bears getting 3.5 points at Soldier Field. Rob.
All right, Colts. Here we go, baby. This is a big number. They're at home against the Lions. The over is 50. Over under 50. Last 3 games on the road, the Lions have averaged 27 points. Last 3 games at home, the Colts have been averaging 21 points. Based on what I saw against the Jets, I don't see any way the Lions shouldn't get at least 30 points in this game. Colts defense has kind of hit the skids. They weren't that much better against Buffalo, although what's-his-face kept throwing through the Bills, so that didn't really help.
No, but you gave up a lot of points to the offensive juggernaut that is the New York Jets in the second half of last week. Boy.
So realistically, if I can get to 31, the last 3 games, the Lions have been giving up 21 points on the road, so that's 52. I think Richardson's going to make multiple mistakes that will give the Lions potentially some points. I don't think he's figured some things out. He makes some big plays, so hopefully that'll get the Colts some points. The Lions' defense isn't great. The last 3 games, the Lions have averaged a total of 47 points collectively in the games they played. The Colts have averaged 46. Put them together. Can I get to 51? Can I at least get a push with 50? I mostly just don't want to be pissed off when all the scoring's taking place. So I'll go over 50 points.
Think about this with Anthony Richardson. When he was playing his worst ball, the Colts were still around 20 points per game.
Yeah.
Around that. So if you get just a little bit of help from Anthony Richardson, I think we all feel pretty good about the Lions being able to do their thing. I think your toes are tapping.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, all right, let's go down to Miami. The Patriots at the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 7.5-point home favorite, over under 46. Here's a little lesson for you. We like to inform and entertain you on this program. Here are 3 fun facts about the city of Miami. Their main export, cocaine. Their main import, cocaine. And number 3, Tua's return may have saved the playoff hopes for the Miami Dolphins. They're not out of this thing yet. Since Tua came back, the Dolphins' offense has been pretty good. And Tua owns the Patriots. 6-0 straight up. And against the spread, against the Patriots in his career. He was inactive in their Week 16 loss on New Year's Day of last year. He was also inactive in the win against the Patriots earlier this year in that ugly, horrible game. Now, Drake May's improving. He looks good. I think the Patriots found their guy, but there's a lot of pressure on a rookie quarterback at a bad team to keep pace here. I think the Dolphins put up some points. They're still in the playoff hunt. The Dolphins have covered in their last 8 games against the Patriots. We're going to lay 7.5. I hate the hook, but I'm not a little candy ass that's going to buy the point. I gamble like a grown-ass man around here. We're going to lay 7.5 with the Miami Dolphins. Rob, let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau. This is a great game. 49ers at the Packers. Packers are a 2-point home favorite, over under right around 47.5.
I actually don't think Jordan Love is all that good. Now watch him throw for 430 yards.
Very inconsistent, it feels like.
He is. Like, I mean, he didn't look good at all in that Bears game. He didn't look good in the Lions game. Now, that was a weather issue. But the Packers' defense isn't great, so I got to kind of weigh these things together. The 49ers' offense isn't exactly gangbusters, though they've been better than I thought, considering all the players other than Kittle are, like, done for the year or done for the lengthy future.
At one point this season, the healthiest wide receiver on the 49ers was a guy who got shot in the chest in the preseason.
That's right. That's correct. Now, the Packers are giving up 19.7 points per game at home the last 3. 49ers are giving up 23.7 on the road. The number is less. Those numbers are less than 47.5. I think it's going to be hard for the 49ers to find the end zone. Just need a couple of sustained drives with field goals. I'll go under 47.5.
And if you're wondering about weather this weekend, it seems like the crappy stuff we're going to see tonight is going to make its way out. Because I looked at the forecast for like Chicago, like 45, 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Lambeau around the same. You know who else is booing? Jim Cantori, because you know how much he loves thunder snow. All right, the Buccaneers at the Giants. Tampa Bay is a 6-point road favorite. The over-under is 41. Danny Dimes has been demoted as the 3rd-team quarterback now on the Giants. So Tommy DeVito gets the start. He goes from like the 3rd-team guy on the depth chart, and now he's the starting quarterback. That's fancy talk for the tank is on. And listen, if you think Tommy DeVito is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, I don't know what to tell you. Daniel Jones is not very good, but there's a reason why nobody was trying to steal Tommy DeVito away in the offseason.
Good point.
The only good thing about Tommy DeVito is throughout the broadcast, if you're unfortunate enough to have to watch this game, you're going to get a lot of like cool mafia references. Even though he fired his agent that looked like somebody that was an extra on The Sopranos, you're going to get a lot of that type of stuff. So I don't think you're going to get a lot of offense. I'm looking at the first half under being 20.5 here. You're not getting much from the Giants. I think the Buccaneers understand they can probably do what they want. 20.5 first half under for the Buccaneers and the Giants, and in honor of Tommy DeVito starting this game, here's 10 seconds of the cast of Sopranos all saying, "Oh!
Oh! 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 Oh!
One more time out, and when we come back, I've got action on the AFC South, Titans and Texans. We'll talk to Mr. Monday Night. We'll ball on a budget. We'll drive down to the prop shop. We got a lot of stuff to get to in a short amount of time. We are rolling. We are the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door. All right, so I laid out my reasoning for a first half under in the Buccaneers and the Giants game. Rob, you've got action on this game, but you got a little something else.
Here's the deal, Fat. Baker Mayfield has been surprisingly good without his weapons. The last 3 games, he's still averaging 23.3 points per game. But this is mostly about the Giants being so bad, so very, very bad. They're not only 5-0 straight up in the last 5, but they're 0-5 against the spread. I know people are dumping on Daniel Jones, and they're excited he's done. But like you said earlier, is DeVito really any better?
Oh! 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 Oh!
Yeah, 0-5 is, I believe, what you said earlier, Rob.
The one sad O in there is my favorite. Tampa Bay has scored 102 points in their last 3 road games. The Giants have scored 32 their last 3 home games. If Tampa Bay can get to 24, the Giants would realistically have to get to 20 to beat me. I don't think they can do it. I'll take the Bucs laying 5.5.
All right, let me go to the AFC South here. The Titans at the Texans. Texans are an 8-point home favorite, over under 40.5. You want a hot take?
Yeah.
You want to hear something you're not going to hear anywhere else?
Yeah.
The Titans stink.
No kidding.
In their last 6 games, the Titans have scored 13, 17, 20, 14, 10, and 17 points. The only time they reached 20, it took them overtime to get to the number. Meanwhile, the Texans are allowing the 6th fewest passing yards per game this season. Houston limited the Cowboys to 10 points last week. It just feels like this has got 30-17 written all over it, maybe 30-20. Either way, I think the Texans cover 8 points here. Pee Wee Herman, let's celebrate a Texans cover.
The stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
All right, now, people have been waiting for this. You have been rolling on these picks, even on weeks where you struggle. You find a way to win the Monday night game, and that's what makes you, Rob Kendall, Mr. Monday Night. Ravens at the Chargers. Got a good one here. Ravens, 2.5-point road favorites, over under around 50.5.
Yeah, the Chargers are averaging 29 points per game, the last 3 at home. The Ravens are averaging 27 on the road. The last 3 games, the Ravens have averaged 30.7 points per game. The Chargers have averaged 29.3. The Ravens are giving up 26 points per game on the road in their last 3. So my concern is about the Rams' offense, but I think they can get to 24, which means the Ravens would only have to get to 26 to cover because the Ravens' defense isn't very good. The data points to the over. I'll ride the data and say over 49.5 points.
Take that for data. All right, I've got my keys. The door is unlocked. We got the drinks in the cup holder. Everybody get in the car. We're driving down to the prop shop.
I take you to the
Prop.
shop. I let you lick the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep on going till you hit the
Prop. So earlier, we gave you a couple for the, what we believe to be weather game tonight in Cleveland. At least that's what the forecasters are calling for. We've got Najee Harris over 17.5 carries, and old famous Jameis over 34.5 passing attempts. Does not matter if the wind is blowing or the snow is falling, Jameis Winston will be prepared to throw the ball.
How did the defense in the running game give overall shape to the way this played out, Jameis?
Well, I just think we were prepared. You know, one thing my trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared.
Just told him to be prepared. Other plays, Drake May, the rookie signal caller of the Patriots, over 26 yards rushing. He's had some big rushing days for the Patriots. Their offensive line is not good, so when the play breaks down, he takes off. We're going to take over 26 yards rushing. Geno Smith, over 0.5 interceptions, and Tua, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Those are our prop bets for this week. And now we turn our attention to the cheapest man alive.
That's right.
The king of the $1 bet. Maybe if he's crazy, it's a $2 bet.
That's right.
I've seen him bet 50 cents. It's time for Rob Kendall's Ballin' on a Budget.
This happens to be a $100 minimum bet table. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of our lower stakes tables.
Oh! All right, you cheapskates. It's time for Rob Kendall's Ballin' on a Budget.
Very tight with $1.
All right, this is the win by a field goal edition of Ballin' on a Budget, in which I'm going to take teams that are heavy favorites, and I'm going to...
Oh, so you're going to tease.
Tease, yeah, I'm going to tease. Thank you, yes. Okay, so... the win by a field goal teaser edition of Ballin' on a Budget. Get the Chiefs by 2.5 at the Panthers. That's minus 500. The Dolphins by 2.5, minus 330. The Commanders minus 2.5 versus Dallas. It's minus 440. And the Texans minus 2.5 versus the Titans minus 320. So the Chiefs, Dolphins, Commanders, and Texans all to win by 2.5 points. You put them all together, plus 151, which means a $10 bet would pay you $15.10.
So that is how you do it if you are a cheapskate. Maybe you're afraid of the big numbers. You can do a little don't tease me, bro, and buy it down just a little bit. All right, let's recap the board here. I am on, oh boy, the Steelers team total tonight. Again, the weather is going to create a lot of issues with this. 19.5 over that total for the Steelers tonight. I'm taking the Bears with the points, plus 3.5. We're going to lay 7.5 with the Dolphins. Giants, first half under with the Buccaneers. And the Texans, -8. Those are my plays. Rob Kendall.
Got the Colts and the Lions going over 50 points. The Rams getting 3 at home against the Eagles. The Chargers and the Ravens over 49.5. Packers and the 49ers under 47.5. And the Bucs laying 5.5 at the Giants.
Those are our plays for this week. And again, no shows next week for Thanksgiving, but we will be tweeting up a storm. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Look for the Degenerates Next Door. It's the little cartoon picture of Rob and I. For Rob Kendall, for our pro handicapper Kenny Britt of KB Sports, I'm Jason Hammer. Have a great weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon here on the Degenerates Next Door.